Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Kryptocraft with your host, Nighthawk. I'm here in one of the underground passageways that we have developed for our power conduits, and basically directly under our tree farm and wheat farm, I've hollowed out the underneath all the way down to bedrock. I set one of the turtles to excavate it, and then I set up this level here for our animal farms, or animal holding pens, rather. So basically got four 12 by 12 holding pens, and I've got dirt put down. There's actually a layer of cobblestone or dirt underneath of this, and then I've got these little fenced areas that actually let the grass seed itself between the different layers. Then I went out and I collected I moved the animals that we had down in here and went out and collected some more cows, moved our feeding station down here, and collected some more sheep and bred them up. And you can see I got some of them that are cyan on the sheep and some white. We'll add other colors here as we need them, but the cyan is one of the ones that we need for a lot of the a lot of tools and thermal expansion things need cyan, so thought I'd just leave some of them that way. Now the big thing that we need the cows for, and I'm going to start getting out of the way here, fix my phone so that it doesn't keep making noise. Silent. There we go. Main thing that we need the cows for is the leather, both to make books, which we actually have a good supply of books at the moment, but we'll probably need a lot more once we get Mistcraft added in. And we also need the leather for making barrel expansions, which is going to be a big one. So let's head back over to the factory area. We've also done some improvements here. Last episode we were getting the blast furnace put up, and we've got this semi-fluid generator here and a bunch of geothermal generators, and we've also got several solar panels now. So those are all hooked up, and we've upgraded to this diamond cable, the glass fiber cable. We've got a couple of MFEs in here, so that's all working wonderful now. So the big thing is we've got 5 magma engines for Buildcraft now. There's our blast furnace. So now we've got some leather, we've got some, I went and collected a bunch of blaze rods last night, and we have a bunch of barrels here. Not as many as I really could use. We've got ender pearls, barrels, and I've got some dark iron ingots. So that's what we need to make these barrel expansions. So let's go ahead and make those and get some of them put up. So in order to make these expansions, actually looks like I have just the right number of barrels. We put barrels in the middle, we put blaze rods on either side, we put ender pearls at the top, and leather at the bottom. Gives us these extra dimensional storage upgrades for our barrels. We're going to make 8 of those. Now what this does is it makes these barrels hold just huge amounts of materials. Now, I'm not going to put all of these in place quite yet because I think I'm going to have to move some of these barrels around in order to make room for some things. So what I want, this barrel right behind here is now full of copper ingots. So let's make that one bigger. And then we'll move some stuff out of our hotbar. We'll just collect a bunch of this copper and we'll move it into the big barrel. You can see now that one's empty and we have 5,000 copper ingots in that barrel. Now I think the tin and the electrum barrels are okay right now. And I need to make a new axe. Oops. So you can see 79 stacks of copper. So what I'm going to use this for is the materials like cobblestone and dirt and gravel and sand and things like that, that when we set up one of the mining turtles, it just collects a huge amount of that material. So we set up a mining turtle to clear out an area. It's generally going to pick up a huge amount of cobblestone in particular. And right now we don't have anything set up for recycling, so we need a way to handle all of that cobblestone, because I also don't want to just dump it away, because it will be very useful once we actually do get the recyclers set up and things like that. So no sense in wasting it, but we don't have a use for it quite yet. So now I'm planning on some pretty significant upgrades to the way this storage system works. Right now it's a bit of a pain because all of the crafting is upstairs and all of the storage is down here, and there's no real processing down here at this point. So what I want to do to solve that problem and make it easier to use overall is I want a way to basically send a command via the computers or otherwise that would cause the item in question to be delivered into an ender chest. Now, if you watch the Minecraft guys, and Good in particular, he has done that, he's accomplished that using the, let's see, what is it called? The Sortron, I think it is. Find the right one here. The interactive sorter is the one that he's using to do that. I don't want to spend the time to do anything quite that fancy, and I'm not too worried about counting individual items. So I've got a different idea, and I think I can put the basics of that idea together fairly quick. Turn hover mode on here again. So yeah, I think I can do the basics of that idea fairly quick, but it's going to take a while before we get all of it up and working. Now, let's see if I have the stuff to make what I need over here. I think I've got the red dope wafers. What I need is... the basic idea here is going to be to make a filter for each of the items that we want. Well, where are you, filter? Oh, there it is. So and then what will end up happening? I need pistons first. Is when we want any specific item, we will send a command via the computer, and it will trigger the appropriate filter to cycle a specific number of times. So if we tell it that we want, say, a stack of copper, then it would trigger, we'd have it set up to trigger one time. And we'd set it up so that certain items would trigger individual items, like the... okay, where's the piston ones? Solar panels. It must be in here somewhere. So things like the... what am I thinking of here? Bronze, that's the one I want. Stuff like gold and iron might be a full stack item, but things like gold, it would only send like maybe 8 at a time. Now I just need a stack of cobble. There we go, that'll do. And there's our filters. We got enough for 2 of them right now. And the reason why we need filters for this is so we can set color destinations. But what will happen is we send a command, and a computer will use a connected bundle of wire to send a command to a specific filter. So let's see, if we set this up on the dirt, and I don't have a screwdriver. So, one of the things I've been wanting is a sonic screwdriver. I need a sapphire, piece of brass, and a battery. And I know I've got loads of batteries. Oops. Okay, quit jittering around. Okay, so any sapphires in here? And did I put the batteries? I think the batteries are still up in the upper chest. So let's go get that, and we'll get this sonic screwdriver. The sonic screwdriver is basically a rechargeable screwdriver for the red power items. So you don't have to worry about durability and things like that. Just need a battery for it. I made a huge batch of the red power batteries. I just don't know where they are. They must have gotten put in one of these chests somewhere. There they are. And I need brass, I think it was. Should be, anyway. Let's put brass, battery, and green sapphire. Then we just got to recharge this, and we'll be good to go. And then I can make a button to demonstrate what will happen here. And what I'll do is I'll just set this to send it. I might have to connect this. I might have to actually connect the pneumatic tubing to make this work, but what I can do is I can send the... Or it might actually go... Well, actually what it should do is just go right back around there. If I don't have a valid destination. Which will be fine for our... I should be able to charge that there. Let me guess, I have to have a charging station for it. Let's see, charging bench. And oh boy, that takes a lot of things to make. Yeah, actually, I guess that's not too bad. I've got that, I've got those. So I just need to make this copper coil, which isn't too bad. Yeah, well, I'll just go get that other screwdriver and use it for the moment. And I'll make that charging bench in a little bit. But, because I really want to demonstrate how this works, what I have in mind will work. Oops, this side. Okay, there's our screwdriver. And now the reason why this, why I'm going through this is because I'm probably going to have to adjust the positioning of some of the items here. Should be that way. Which means that, you know, I can't really use it as is. Let's do this. Let's go plunk. And you can see a stack of dirt just was pulled out. It's going to go wrap around and drop right back into that chest because there's nowhere else for it to go. Now what would happen is if I set up another ender chest that was a pickup chest, and might even set it up, you know, basically right next to this one or somewhere close. But what I can do at that point is set up a connection from this pneumatic tube, and it would probably be more on the bottom set. And it may be, I might even be able to use this as is, and just, the biggest thing I've got to figure out a good way of dealing with is, even with the expansions, I think we're still going to have too much cobblestone in particular. So I need a good way of managing the overflow cobblestone to keep from just having, you know, if I only have one barrel that it's drawing from, because I only want to have one of these filters for each item that is remotely retrievable, then, but if I only have one barrel that it draws from, then that barrel gets empty and I still have a whole bunch of other items, then there's got to be a way to get the excess back into the barrel that we're drawing from. And we also don't want to draw the very last item out of a barrel, so probably need some sort of a sensor to reject a command and send a signal back that says, hey, the barrel is empty. So I've got a couple of ideas on how we can do that. Just got to figure out how to hook them up. And in the meantime, we do have a bunch of these expansions, and I can start hooking those up for some of the items. Just have to decide if I want to keep these at this level, which I think might actually be okay, because I can make a little room behind there. And this actually goes down to another area that's already cleared out. So I can just make a spot that goes through the floor here to connect into this pneumatic tube. And then they just get tagged with the color that I want them to go out to. And I can set up the computer so that the wiring goes inside this wall and connects to the filters from inside. So that might actually be an okay spot to have these placed. I'll have to play with it a little bit and see if I can get that working here soon. And then the idea is to have a computer that you just enter a command in it and it would send a wireless redstone or wireless rednet signal through the computer networks, the Kryptocraft network, which would come to a master console that would basically tell the correct computer to send out a signal, and that computer would send out a signal to the attached filter, and if you requested, say, 2 stacks of dirt, then it would send 2 pulses out to that filter, and that would send 2 stacks of dirt to you. And then there might be something to trigger the restocking mechanism for items that have a huge amount of overflow. Anyway, that's kind of the idea there. Now, the next thing that we also are running short of is sand. Now, sand might seem like a strange thing to need, but we do need a lot of it for one of the furnaces. Now, there's a couple of ways we can make sand. We can actually use this cracked sand and craft it with water bucket to make sand. But then we'd have to actually collect a bunch of it. Now, we might use that to use all of the sand that we already have. But that's not how I want to make sand in general, because you still have to fill up water buckets, and it'd just be a real pain. So I don't know if we'll even use the cracked sand that we have, but we'll come up with something for it, I'm sure. Might just end up being a decorative block, or there was a recipe for... Let's see, was this in the centrifuge to make fuel cans and saltpeter dust, which could be useful. What is this used for? We can make fertilizer with it. We can make gunpowder with it. And if we electrolyze it, we get nitrogen, potassium, and compressed air. So, might have a good use to actually pass the sand through a couple of processes to get stuff out of it, the cracked sand that is. The big thing we need the sand for is really the induction smelter. But there is a good way to, as it happens, to make the sand. And what it takes is a couple of machines. We need... Well, I don't have any of them right now for the first one, but one of the items we need is a pulverizer, and the other is an igneous extruder. Now, let's start with the pulverizer. So we need 2 flint, we need a piston, which we happen to have just made a bunch of, and a redstone reception cell, which takes gold. And we need some copper, so I should go down and get some copper. I should have looked at what I needed first. Let's go grab that. Now we got tons of copper here. So this, pretty much all of this copper is coming from our centrifuge array that is down on the tank level. So that's just shows how effective that is. Let's see, the other thing we need is igneous extruder. And what this is a fancy way of making, it basically is a cobblestone generator that you don't have to do any, you don't have to actually break the blocks, it just gives you cobblestone blocks. And you put some water, put a bucket of water and a bucket of lava in it, and it just goes to town. So we need 2 iron ingots to make this pneumatic servo. And the machine frames are gold and iron, so we need 2 machine frames. I think all the iron is already upstairs right now. Excuse me. I should use up this kind of copper. We also have a forged lexicon, so I should just change this copper into the other kind of copper, into this type. And that way I don't have 2 different types of it running around. So, let's see, I need flint. Take 2 flint. Now right now there's actually not any resources coming in here. There's no turtles that are actually out in the world operating right now. So that'll probably be the case until we get the rest of this sorting and processing system online. We've got a pretty good supply of resources right now, so we're not in too bad a shape for anything right now. Now, something else I still want to do is change up the change the way all of the stuff is set up in the first sub-basement, the first level, first service level. For I want to change it up so that all the conduit is on the ceiling, and that's all leveled out to the same level that the rest of the floor is at, because that will make moving around much easier. Put the ender pearls, that, those, this, and the landmarks. Okay, we're good there. Let's get some gold. I think I've got some iron already in good shape. Do that. And I don't know... Let's see, I've got 9 glass. That should be enough. I think. No, it's not. I need to cook up some more sand. Let me go down and grab some sand. And this is why we need the remote item retrieval system set up. Which, yeah, it's going to take a while to get that set up just because of how complex of a system that is. There's a bit of programming involved to make that work. Put that in so that it knows where to put the sand. Fly up here. I am opening this area up a little bit more so it's easier to move around. So that's helpful. And we'll just toss the sand up there, that's fine. Okay, I haven't put the rest of the iron in to cook yet, but we got a bunch of it. Put that up there. So while that's cooking, we're going to take a quick snack here. And we'll put this away so that I don't have to carry it around. And we can start working on... Let's see, we need, for the servo, we need 2 iron and some redstone. So let's grab a stack of redstone. And there should be some iron already done. And there should be some glass in here. So we need... Let's see, first we'll make one of these reception coils. Like so. And then we take 2 iron, piece of redstone. We get our pneumatic servo. We need some tin. Do I happen to have... There should be some tin in here. A lot of silver. Don't tell me that there's no tin up here at all. That would be just my luck. Oh, there's some tin. Should be enough. Okay, let's get... Oh, that's still churning along. Let's take that out. There we go. We'll put those over there. Okay, and let's see. We should have enough to make our 2 frames. Let's see if I put these in right. No, I don't have enough iron to make both of them. So there's one of the machine frames. Sad thing is, there was plenty of iron already cooked, I just didn't have it in my inventory. The glass, gold ingot, gives us our second machine frame. And now we need a piston. And I believe we have some pistons here. So we take our piston. We take our glass, a machine frame. We're going to need both of those anyway. Pneumatic servo and tin. Gives us our igneous extruder. Now if we put a redstone reception cell, it should be... Yeah, we just need the flint here and copper here. Gives us our pulverizer. And now the other thing that I need is... Actually, I'm going to make 2 buckets so I don't have to take 2 trips here. The rest of the stuff we don't need right now, so let's go fill one of these up with water from this spring that we have up here. And the other we'll take down to the lava tank and fill. And then we'll set this up in a very basic fashion. I'll probably end up moving it. I hear that zombie moving around. I'll probably end up moving this since I'm not sure exactly where I want to put it quite yet. But we can get a general idea for how this will end up working. And there's Hannibal. So what we're going to do... Where are you at? Don't know where he's hiding at. So I'm going to put this right here for the moment. So we put an igneous extruder, and then we put that going into a pulverizer. Now I want the output of the igneous extruder to be on the right. It doesn't need to have anything turned on for inputs. So it's going to output into this pulverizer. And the pulverizer will output just to the top. And on the top, we're going to put, let's see, find them here. We're going to just put a couple of these. That should have connected. It's disappointing that that didn't connect. Well, I'll fix that. And there's the water. So now this is going to start making cobblestone. And sends the cobblestone into the pulverizer. Now the pulverizer doesn't have any power quite yet. but it will in a moment. So let's stick the pulverizer right there, or the redstone energy cell right there. We'll power this a little differently in a minute. And we're making sand. Now, that obviously that needs to be hooked up so that it actually works and sends sand out, but we'll fix that in a little bit. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and next episode I think Hannibal will be on. Please make sure to check out everybody's channels, and we will see you guys next time. Bye!